Hey everybody, it's Jack from Long Walk Ministries. I also have another ministry called The Bible and the Badge. It is a ministry that I use for the police department, and I have goals in it that I want to do, and I'm going to post this also on that website. But I'm going to put a link below, and I want you guys to check out that channel. It's very new right now. There's not much on it, but the point of that ministry is to warn, and I'm writing a book right now to do just this, and I'm praying every day for the Lord to guide me in this. I don't even know if he wants me to do this, but the whole point is to in these last days that we are in, what I want to do is warn law enforcement officers and other first responders in these last days, because the people that I work with, the cops that I work with, they're all good people. They're hardworking. Many believe in Christ, many Christians, but they don't understand the times we're in. All right, and if there ever was a watchman, a trumpet to blow, it would be this, because in these last days we know, and in my book I allude to it, and I liken it to terrorist behavior, because I work in that field, terrorism and bombings, and I know that terrorist behavior. I've investigated terrorism and suspects and how they act, and it's very similar, based on the father whom they follow, which is Satan. Excuse me. And true to form, Satan is going to, in these last days, he knows the gig is up. He doesn't have much time. He's raising up another Antichrist, whoever that might be, but he knows this is probably his last chance. So he's attacking the church. He's attacking born-again believers and Christians. Ask any born-again person how much they battle against temptation and trials and all that stuff. And they do it constantly. I do it constantly, and it is very fatiguing. And if it wasn't for God and Jesus Christ, I would not be able to withstand it. But also, if I did not have God and Jesus Christ and proclaim them and confess them, Jesus to be my Lord, I would not be bothered by Satan, because I would not be a threat to him. And that's part of what I want to get a message out, is if you believe in Christ and you profess Christ and you're doing Christ's work right now in these last days, and you're evangelizing and you're warning people, you will be attacked by Satan. Okay? He will attack if you're a threat to him. And he will also attack those who are absolutely unprotected. And that's where the police come in. And where you come in also as believers. If you have family members who are not protected, if you have loved ones, co-workers, anyone who is not protected and do not know Christ, please talk to them and teach them about Christ, about saving grace of Jesus Christ and his blood, because without it, they are simply unprotected and they don't stand a chance. Much of the Bible is God's warning to us. It's when you read it and you discern it, you come away thinking, this Bible is more of a, it's not a do this or do that. It's more of a God is our protection. He is our only protection. He's not saying we have to do this or do that to be saved. He's saying that we have to do this and do that to be saved, because we don't stand a chance without Christ. And he's saying both, actually. But without Christ, we literally do not stand a chance against Satan, because he is that powerful, that cunning, And only with Christ do we have authority and power over him. Now, that being said, in the police world, in law enforcement world, in first responder world, firemen, ambulance drivers, security guards, cops, we see it. We are seeing an uptick of crazy behavior. Absolute crazy, nutty behavior. It's like, why are they doing this? People killing their families. A city attorney, LA city attorney, a couple weeks ago killed his family and himself. Why? The only thing I could say, he was not protected by Jesus Christ. He did not know Jesus Christ. Okay? This crazy stuff continues. It's in the headlines. A lot of these school shootings, Parkland shooting in 2018, the Texas shooting, the synagogue shootings, the common theme is these people started hearing voices. And they started listening to those voices. And even the Parkland shooter, when they finally apprehended him, he was like, he couldn't remember anything. He was a very meek and docile person. My theory is because Satan already used him to do what he was going to do, and he was done with them, so he left them. He was no longer possessed. So you're seeing a lot of this, and you're going to see more. As a law enforcement officer, and as this demonic activity increases, you're going to go to work, and you're going to respond to this stuff, and you're going to ask yourself, what in the world is going on? That's what's going on. And some of the stuff that you're going to see, me being in the bombing world, being a bomb tech, that's what I do. I see things, I look at post-blast pictures, and I investigate them, so I had to, and I study them, and they're absolutely horrific. And I tell people when I do roll call trainings in our patrol roll call, I tell them, I said, you are going to see some things that you absolutely cannot imagine. And it's absolutely horrific. And I told them, you're going to handle it like you normally would, because that's what you do. You're professionals, but it will affect you. It absolutely will affect you. Now the thing is, if you see one of these events, it's going to affect you, and you're going to have to deal with it. But in these last days, you're going to see it again and again and again. You might see a bombing. You might see a car running over people or a crowd. You might see somebody going nuts and cutting somebody's head off or killing their family. But it's going to increase. And if you're a law enforcement officer, you are going to have to deal with that. You're going to see this day in, day out. And you're going to say, what is going on with my profession? If you don't know Christ, or if you don't know the time we're in, I'm telling you right now, we're in the end times. Satan is doing one last push. He's not holding anything back. And he's going to get anyone and influence anyone that will do his work for him, which is killing, maiming, lying, whatever it is, the most horrific act. He's going to attack society. His goal is to be worshipped. His goal is that one world government. And the best way to do that is through killing and proving that the United States and this capitalistic system isn't going to work. He's pushing for that one world government, just like the globalists are, because they're doing his agenda too, just on a political level. But we work on the street level, and that's what's happening. So if you don't know Christ, now's the time. There is no other time. because it takes time to learn how to walk with Christ. It takes time to learn how to trust Christ. It takes time to learn how to submit all of your ego and your bravado and all the stuff you think you knew and you think you were in control of. It takes time to let it go. Believe me, it takes time. And if you wait and you wait and you wait, and that you wait until that absolutely last possible minute, and it is then that you have to give up everything you are, have, and trust, you may not be able to do it. You may not be able to do it. Because I've seen people under pressure and they simply, even stuff they practice day in and day out, they can't do it. So, you're going to start seeing all this stuff. You're going to have to turn to someone as a law enforcement officer seeing all this horrific things and hearing about it. Are you going to quit your job? How are you going to sustain your family? Is your family going to be able to understand what you're going through? Are your kids going to be able to? Are you going to be able to come home and enjoy your kids anymore because of the stuff you see at work? It's that type of things that law enforcement and first responders are going to have to learn how to deal with, because it's going to become an everyday normal thing. I can tell you firsthand, if it was not for Christ, I would not be able to go home and enjoy my family. And even now, it's still difficult for me to enjoy my family because I know what lies ahead. They don't. And I have to deal with it. But if it wasn't for Christ, I would not be able to deal with it. That I can promise you. And if you are a peer counselor for the police department or the fire department or any type of first responders, and this goes out to anybody, because these horrific acts can happen anywhere. They can happen anywhere. It's just, they can happen at malls, schools, obviously. But it's the policemen that have to get there and go there and stay there until all is stable and then deal with it. But it can happen anywhere, so this applies to everybody. You know, September 11th, first responders, the firemen, the policemen, the Port Authority, anyone who stayed to help, it affected them for the rest of their lives. Many of them are dead now because of various illnesses, and even suicides increased. And that's what I'm talking about. In these last days, in these horrific acts, suicide is not the answer. And when I talked to our division, my division, a couple weeks ago, I told them that about my story of suicide. Not mine personally, but mine that influenced me, of my partner. His daughter committed suicide, and I said that because of the city attorney, or actually the city attorney killed himself and his family, and another law enforcement personnel killed themselves a couple weeks ago. So if you're a peer counselor or you're a chaplain, you are going to have to expect this, number one. And if you don't know, if you're a chaplain and you don't know we're in the last days of the Bible, because I know there's chaplains out there who don't believe in the Bible, and I'm talking to LAPD specifically. And I'll tell you right now, there's a satanic chaplain on LAPD, believe it or not. And it's that stronghold. I pray, and I ask you all to pray to break that stronghold, because I want to break it. There is actually a satanic chaplain on LAPD that Charlie Beck let in, against many wishes of the chaplains. Well, my personal friend opposed it, and a few others, but many did not. And I find that very, very hard to believe. But if you're a chaplain and you don't know we're in the last days of the Bible, if you don't realize what's going on, the battle, and if you don't realize that Satan's at work, I don't know what you're going to tell these people to explain it to them. But the truth is, we are in the last days. The truth is, Jesus Christ is coming. And the truth is, Satan's fighting it. And all hell is breaking loose. And Jesus said it. Lawlessness, lovers of self. And this is just the birth pains. This isn't the tribulation. This is just the beginning of the sorrows. So I want to get that out there. If you're in law enforcement and you don't know Christ, please introduce yourself or reintroduce yourself, because He is waiting. He is absolutely waiting. You have free will. He's not going to force Himself on you. He wants a bride that wants to be part of His life. He wants a bride that wants to be with Him. He wants a church that wants to be with Him. You know, somebody said to me one time, and it's absolutely true, heaven is optional. You don't have to go to heaven. You can choose not to. But that's your only choice. You don't get to choose where you're going to go. There's a place for you. And I pray everyone chooses heaven and chooses Christ, because there's only one way. And that's through Christ. So, I pray that this kind of got you something to think about if you're in law enforcement or a first responder, because it's going to get crazy out there. I'm going to try to do updates as much as I can. This is for my other channel, but I'm putting it on this channel. I try to speak at our roll call trainings and allude to the fact that it's going to get crazier out there. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. And some people are listening. I've had chats with other officers about Jesus Christ and the end times, and the toughest parts are coming up ahead. And if you're in law enforcement, I pray that you spread the word too. If you're a born-again believer and you know exactly what I'm talking about, spread the word and warn your fellow officers and first responders, because it's not just you that's going to have to battle this. It's you, it's departments, and you're going to fight your departments. I guarantee it. Your families are going to be battling this with you. It's going to affect them too. And if you think you can just handle it, you can't, because you're battling, it's Ephesians 6. We're battling against principalities and powers and rulers in dark places. So you're not just fighting some thug or gang member or some 18th streeter. You're fighting Satan himself, and you're pretty much picking up his mess, and you cannot do it alone. You simply cannot do it alone. You don't stand a chance. So give your lives to Jesus Christ. Don't quit, because you are a peacekeeper. You are in law enforcement. You are in between evil and the innocent people out there who have no clue. You are to intercede for them. And the only way to do it is to wear that armor of God, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the shield of faith, the feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that sword that is the word of God. That is your weapons. and you're in a good place. You don't have to be there alone. It's a tough place, not for all people, believe me. But you were called for this, and I pray that you stand up with Christ. He will stand with you, and you will be victorious. The battle's already won. The war's already won. But it's just the adversary won't give up. So I wanted to get that out there. Please leave your comments. LAPD does not have a fellowship program yet. I am trying to do that. LA sheriffs have one, and I know a lot of other Christian fellowships for law enforcement. They're across the country. If you belong to one or if you have one, please get involved. Please get involved. LAPD has a ways to go, and I pray to break down those strongholds before too long, because it's looking at our leadership. Not many of them are follow Christ. I can say that based on their past performances, but I know in the old days many did. But nowadays, no, it's kind of a mirror image of society itself. So that's not really a good thing. So we're battling it everywhere. So we'll battle it as it comes. So please leave your comments. God bless you guys. I love you. Please stay safe. Please stay safe. Law enforcement is not a safe profession. I have a black band on my badge. And I've had it over a year now, because there's an officer dying every week across the country. And so just please stay safe. Reach out to Jesus Christ, because he's waiting for you. So God bless you guys. I love you, and take care. Bye.